your father found out I was thugging? Do you believe me when I tell you you the one I'm loving? Are you mad cause I'm asking you 21 questions? Are you my soulmate? Cause if so, girl, you a blessing. Do you trust me enough to tell me your dreams? I'm staring at you trying to figure how you got in them jeans. If I was down, would you say things to make me smile? I treat you how you wanna be treated, just teach me how. If I was with some other chick and someone happened to see, and when you asked me about it, I said it wasn't me, would you believe me or up and leave me? How deep is our bond if that's all it takes for you to be gone? We only humans, girl, we make mistakes to make it up, I'll do whatever it takes. I love you like a fat kid love.
What's up? Back again. I hope everybody doing well. It's been a while. My voice, our agenda on this beautiful Wednesday evening. I thought I'll come back and check my people out. I hope everybody doing well. The journey is the journey. No matter what you're going through, the journey is the journey. You heard? But no journey can start and end or survive without the grace of God. No journey. So I want to give thanks to my God for waking me up this morning, to give me another chance to reach out to my people, give y'all some honest, real content, authentic content. Put my glasses on. It's been a while, right? That's my bag. You know, sometimes your mind got to be right. Sometimes your mind got to be right. You just can't jump on camera and reach out to your people and really don't, if you're really not feeling it. So, big shout out to my people. Big shout out to my God. Thank you for giving me another chance to express myself, to reach out to my people, like I said before. Without you, with nothing, with you, with everything. Also, big shout out if you're any kind of religion, you know, Christian, you know, Catholic, Jew, you know, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhism, whatever you do, make sure you are real about it. I want to emphasize that. No love for the pretenders. No love for the pretenders. If you are spiritually guided, you are blessed. If you are spiritually guided, if you truly believe in God, if you truly believe in Him and have faith, I'll give you the utmost respect because there's so many pretenders out there. So I want to give a big shout out to y'all. I'm not going to get into no gospel or no preaching, nothing like that. I just want to emphasize that because, you know, I wouldn't be able to do this without the grace of God. But anyway, let's get right into it on My Voice, Our Agenda. Real shit, man. Like real shit. You know, when you think about prison, right? You think about incarceration. You think about in the physical form of a prison. You know, where you have bars or you have, you know, dorms and you have, you know, correctional officers, and you doing time. They tell you what to do, when to eat, when to sleep. You're around a whole bunch of men. Or if you're in a woman prison, you're around a whole bunch of women, and you're locked down. You know, you can't go nowhere. You're trapped. That's the prison you think about when you hear the word prison. That's for anybody. The first thing you're gonna think about is that when somebody tell you, you know, the hardest prison to escape is what? The hardest prison to escape is what? You're gonna think about Alcatraz, or you're gonna think about San Quentin or Carl Robinson, or wherever your location may be. You're thinking about the physical form of a prison. Well, think about the common invisible prison. that prison that you can't see. Some of it is self-inflicted, right? So when I think about that prison that you can't escape, that's that prison that you are in psychologically. The behavioral traps are far more secure than a concrete wall. When you cannot see the boundaries, when you cannot think about the breakthrough in them, you have those boundaries that you can't see. You have, you know, you have the strength, you have the growth, you have the ambition, but you're so locked in to ignorance. And when I say ignorance, it's not in a disrespectful form. Ignorance in a form of not knowing what's in front of you, not knowing what's going on around you. You have no room for growth because you don't know that you are in a spiritual, psychological prison. And I know people may not understand, but that prison psychologically, that knowledge that you don't have, that wisdom that you don't have, that understanding that you don't have, puts you in a prison. You don't know anything. You don't have that desire to try to get past or get through certain situations in your life because you put yourself in a prison. You don't want to think outside the box. And for all those that go to church or go to the mosque and all of that, that's all fine. I don't knock anybody for that. But God is only one God. And there's a spiritual realm that you have to accept. There's a spiritual realm that's not about religion. It's about you. God is within you. Everybody point to the sky and God is within you. And if you don't have God within you, if you don't have that spirituality, you are in prison. You can't escape that. Because there are things that go on around you. The devil is not some physical form that you can see, but he will put you in a prison. So you won't be able to see those boundaries. You won't be able to see the right, the wrong. You won't be able to see the negative light, the negative energy of others, things that's being put upon you. You are placing yourself in a prison where you don't have that vision to see anything. So you really don't want to limit yourself or limit your beliefs, right? It's an internalized narrative where you start to say to yourself, I'm not good enough, right? These are the invisible wardens that dictate what you can achieve. It's invisible. When you start to look down on yourself and you have low self-esteem and you start to believe that you can't be good enough, you can't do something, that puts you in a prison. That puts you in a mindset where you can't think outside the box, where you have that energy and that drive to not think like that, to not learn, not to see things, not to observe, because you locked yourself in a prison, and it's a psychological prison. It's very separate. It's very separate from the physical form, And I think, you know, we tend to not listen to these type of things. We tend not to listen to them, and I think that's what hurt us the most. Give me a second. I need a little bit of light in here. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. So we tend not to see things like that, and we ignore the signs, right? And I don't talk about this a lot. It's not something that I really get into, but I have a lot of conversations with grown people. And I'm not even speaking about a child. I'm talking about grown people, and they so ignorant. And again, it's not in a disrespectful form. They're ignorant. They're ignorant of the fact of not trying to learn new things, not trying to take wise advice, not seeing things for what it is, because they're so content to with who they are. They didn't evolve, and now they are stuck in this prison, this psychological prison, to where they don't want to learn nothing new. They don't want to, make themselves better. And sometimes you're being trapped in your comfort. A lot of people have this comfort zone. They set in their ways, and they just rather be there. And it's easy to be like that. It's easy to have a predictable routine. But that, it masquerades um as rest. It masquerades as rest. But slowly it will strip away your strength, your growth, and your ambition, because you're comfortable. You're comfortable with being who you are when you know you can be a better person. You're comfortable with 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 not caring if you grow or not. You're comfortable in a relationship that you know that ain't going nowhere. You're comfortable being in a relationship where that other person don't care about you. You're comfortable. You're comfortable being in unhealthy situation because it's easy, you know, and staying in unhealthy situations and unhealthy relationships simply because you know misery is predictable and known to you. You're at a job, you're miserable. You're not happy with management. You're not happy with the way things are going. You're not happy with your coworkers. You're not happy with the hours. But you find no energy and no way of trying to get out that situation or to do something to better that situation. You're stuck. You're in a prison. You know what I'm saying? You're locked down in your mind. You're psychologically, you're dead. And I talk about this because there's so much going on in this world. There's so much that's about to happen, and people don't care. You literally have a world war going on around you. Ukraine and Russia. You even had Ukraine attack Iran. China's involved with that war. They supplying intelligence. It's just so much going on. United States is, attacking all these small countries. And then you have the merging of the US military and the Israeli military. If you look at it from the outside, you say, damn, okay, what's wrong with that? If you look at Israel and the way they operate, and if you look at the way United States operate, It's so much deeper than Congress approving military aid or, helping out a friend of theirs, because Israel is not an ally. It's not an official ally. But it's so much deeper than that, because with that merger, it's going to hit home. And I don't think we're ready for that. I'm not going to get into details. I'll talk about that another day. But I'm just giving you an example of so much that's going on around you. You got the Nolan Wells case. You got the Epstein situation where they think it's going to die down. You got, thousands and thousands of, black women and children are missing. You have the atmosphere where the racial tension it, it's rising. The hatred among people, the killing, it's a dark world. Homeless people, it's always been homeless people, but it's getting worse. Uh, I can go on and on and on, where I'm saying that we are so locked in here, where we are in a prison within ourselves, because we don't see what's going on around us, and we partying and we laughing and we carrying on like everything is all right. Everything is not all right. The days are dark, but it's going to get darker. And if we're not psychologically and physically and mentally and emotionally strong, or we still in this prison in our mind that everything is okay, because we don't understand what God is presenting in front of us. God is showing you every day. You just don't see it. So the hardest prison to escape is the prison within you. The hardest prison to escape is something that you can't see. And you can't see what's going on within you. You can't see because your mind won't let you. Because you are not purposely, but you are blocking your blessings. You are blocking what God is trying to show you. You are blocking it because you are content with who you are. You don't want to educate yourself. You don't want to see what's going on. You don't want to. You don't care. As long as you can get your weed and get your liquor, get your cocaine, as long as you can, go bag to shorty, go to the bar, hang out at the club, as long as you can play your PlayStation, your Xbox, or get in your whip and drive around and show off, as long as you can talk about unnecessary things where you don't have to have a critical thought, you don't have to use critical thinking, you're comfortable being in that prison, that psychological prison. You're comfortable because it's easy for you. You don't want, you know, to satisfy your expectations of others. You don't care about that. It's not that you have to worry about what people think of you. You have to have that worry of what you think of yourself. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is more powerful today than it's ever been. Because when you put God first and He gives you signs and clues and you don't see it because you don't have that spiritual guiding, you don't have that spiritual growth, that strength, you don't have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to where you can see things, articulate it, break it down, you're in trouble. Not about you being perfect. It's not about, you trying to be better than somebody. It's about getting out of that psychological prison. How do you escape it? read, pray, put God first, pay attention to your surroundings, understand what's going on in front of you. Stop worried about that celebrity gossip. What's going on with 38 Specs and Jadakiss and Jim Jones? What's going on with I'm not saying not worry about what's going on with Nolan Wells because that's very important, but don't let that consume you. Worry about what happened with Diddy. He got into a fight in prison. You know, we have to be more conscious of what's going on that affects our everyday life. We have to be more conscious. Consciousness is very important. It's very important today because that will take you out of that prison. That's how you escape that. Understanding the importance of thinking out the box, get out that comfort zone, self educate, elevate as a human being. Have those healthy conversations with those that have conscious mind, not those that talk about, yeah, that bitch over there look good, man, you know, or yo, we about to go take that L, we about to go burn, we about to go on the block. Foolishness. Foolishness. Not a color thing, because all phases of life, white people, blue people, black people, brown people, whatever. Everybody's asleep right now. Everybody's taking everything for granted. Everybody's in that prison, psychological prison. That prison you can't see. That prison you can't see. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. That the unhealthy situation is really, really unhealthy. You know, it's invisible. You know, like I said, you know, you have to find a way to understand who you are and what you want for yourself. So again, thank you all for watching My Voice, Our Agenda. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and comment. Put it in the comment section. I want to know what people got to say because it's real out here. It's real out here. It's real. No time for game. You know, I keep it 100 with people, man. I ain't come over here, you know, to talk about no trash. I'm keeping a buck right now because that's what we need. You know, big shout out to everybody that's trying to rise up and do positive things. Life ain't easy. It can be tough sometimes, but you got to rise up and make sure you stand 10 toes down. And whatever you believe in, you believe in. Don't let nobody change your mind. My voice, our agenda. Always remember, integrity is everything. Whether you have it or you don't. Whether you believe it, or whether you don't. Integrity is everything. I promise you. Hit that like button. Share this video. My voice, our agenda. Till next time, I'm out.